So it's been just over 2 weeks since we put seed down here at my parents' house. Put down Barenbrug's Turf Blue Pro with the RPR, and I am very happy to report that we have liftoff. So while we're off to a good start with the grass growth, I did notice a little issue, literally a little issue, when I came back through here yesterday to take a look at this for the first time since putting this grass seed down. We have ants, and that's kind of a bummer, but it's not really too big of a deal, I don't think. And I'll explain why in a minute. But today what I want to talk about is how I'm going to take care of ants in a newly seeded lawn. Here we go. So yes, the excitement quickly turned to surprise when I showed up yesterday to see how the grass was coming in and saw ants. And I took a walk around the entire perimeter of the yard here, and the ants are pretty active and they're pretty consistent, and it looks like they're moving some of the grass seed. And you can kind of see in the peat moss there's these little tunnels. So they're very, very busy, and I want to stop them as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do today is put down an insecticide that I'll show you in a second, and that should take care of the ants, and we should get back to having no worries about having any issues with anything getting in the way of the rest of this grass seed coming up. Now the first impression would be, well, if the ants are moving the seed, that might affect how the grass comes in. And that could be true. But when you think about it, especially with smaller grass seeds like Kentucky bluegrass and perennial ryegrass like we have planted here, there are literally millions of seeds out on this lawn right now. And for these ants to be able to move that much material in such a little amount of time, I don't think that's really possible. So the plan for now, get rid of the ants and let the grass grow. We'll see how it fills in. If the bluegrass is gonna fill in at all like the ryegrass is doing right now, we're gonna be just fine. This is coming in really nice. You can see some green from the driveway on the other side of the yard, and that's just looking really good. So I'm really happy with how this is going for just 2 weeks, and hopefully we can get the bluegrass to fill in just as well. Now my product of choice to get rid of the ants is going to be this Bifen LP. This is from Do My Own. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can check this out. I like using this. I've used this many times before. This is kind of a staple insecticide for me as far as a granular goes. I've had sod webworm in my yard before, and bifenthrin, which is the active ingredient here, if you didn't already know, is great for that. So I typically put this down once a year just to control the sod webworm. This is also really good for ants and a lot of other pests. So if you have insect or pest issues, bifenthrin is a great option. Now for ants, the label suggests 2.3 to 4.6 pounds per thousand. I'm going to go on the heavy rate here and go with 4 pounds per thousand square feet. This is roughly 2,000 square feet, and I'm going to use about 8 pounds of this. Now with this being a newly seeded lawn, there's brand new grass seed here. The soil is wet. I did have my dad skip this morning's watering so that it could be somewhat dry, well, drier, less wet. I want to be extra careful about foot traffic on this and walking on this. I'd rather not walk on this. So my first approach is going to be to start my application from the perimeter and just walk around the perimeter the best I can. I'll walk in this flower bed over here, I'll walk down the sidewalk, I'll walk on the other side of the fence, and then I'll walk through these garden beds and just apply it as far into the yard as I can and kind of gauge how far it's going. And then from there I can make one pass down and back and I should be good to go. So minimal foot traffic on the yard. Don't want to disrupt anything as much as possible. So that's the plan. Here we go. Alright, that'll go ahead and do it. So now we'll turn the watering schedule back on, and that'll get watered in pretty quick, and the ants can start snacking on that. So really, other than that, I think we're in good shape. I think everything's looking really good, and I just can't wait for this to grow. The next couple weeks or so are going to be even more telling. Now that the sprouts are coming up out of the ground, they're going to catch the sun, photosynthesis is going to happen, and things are going to change really quick around here. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing, keep up on this project, see how it turns out, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.